Can I thank the more than 32,000 people that were tested in the last 24 hours, which takes into account Sunday. Obviously, that is a good number for a Sunday, but we're really keen to make sure we keep those testing numbers above 40,000 where possible. So I do encourage everybody to please make sure you come forward and get tested with the mildest of symptoms. If you've been at a venue of concern or you've received advice to go and get tested, please do so. It helps us make sure that we don't have those chains of community transmission in the community. Overnight, New South Wales recorded 18 cases of community transmission. 11 of those cases were people that were completely in isolation. 5 of those cases were people that were partially in isolation, and 2 people, unfortunately, were infectious in the community. Now, the lockdown is having its desired effect to date, no doubt about that, but it's still concerning that a number of cases are remaining infectious in the community for that period of time, and some cases have been received are quite historic, so that people have been exposed in the community for a number of days, and that's something we don't want to see. We don't want to see that. And can I also please give a call out to young people? We are noticing younger people coming through and testing positive. And we encourage you to please make sure once you do get that diagnosis, when you're speaking with health officials, you won't get in trouble. Just tell us what you've been up to and where you've been to make sure that we really clamp down on those close contacts to keep everybody safe moving forward. I will also update the community to say that we've been having various discussions with health experts and others in the last few days, and that will continue throughout today and into the early evening. And I hope to be able to communicate to the community tomorrow on what next week looks like. So I hope to be able to provide some information tomorrow, but every minute we have, every last bit of advice we have supports us in being able to make those important decisions. The New South Wales Government's priority is always about keeping the community safe first and foremost, but also having a keen eye on opening up the economy as well, and it's that balanced approach we'll take into our decision making. But I do want to say this, New South Wales wants this to be the last lockdown until we get the majority of our citizens vaccinated. And the difference now to what occurred in the last year or so since we had the one and only other lockdown is the Delta strain. This strain is very different to what we've experienced, and if you look at other jurisdictions around the world, we can see that you can't afford to let this get away from you. So whilst we have the best contact tracers in the world, and I believe that the right settings at the right time for our population, we have to be mindful that what we're experiencing with this strain is something new during the pandemic. It's not something we've seen before, and that's why it requires a different type of response. We only intend for this lockdown to be the only lockdown we go through, and that will factor into our decision making as to whether it finishes on Friday or whether we continue for a period longer. But I do, again, hope to update the community tomorrow. Obviously, what will be foremost in our decision-making as a government and with my colleagues is the health advice, and also, of course, what we need to do between now and when the majority of our citizens are vaccinated.